I want the carnival mindset. Bring on the carnival.
Hey, buddy, eyes up here.
Peraí, não é um pássaro, não é um avião, é o Superman do James Gunn, gente, que finalmente tá chegando nos cinemas. Pra quem não tá sabendo, 2025, um dos filmes mais esperados desse ano é Superman. E aí, pra gente se aquecer pra esse lançamento gigantesco, tá rolando aqui no Rio de Janeiro, no Brasil, uma das pré-estreias oficiais do filme. Vem elenco, vem diretor, é claro que a gente aqui da Warner Channel ia mostrar tudo isso pra vocês, né? Então bora comigo pra mostrar como é que tá acontecendo aqui? Eu sou a Valentina Bugarin e esse é o nosso Inside Warner Superman.
He's back.
Um novo filme de Superman, um novo elenco também. A Lois Lane está sendo interpretada pela maravilhosa Rachel Brosnahan. O Superman é o David Corenswet e os dois estão sendo dirigidos pelo James Gunn, um dos favoritos dos fãs da DC. E é claro que esse trio veio para o Rio de Janeiro e conseguiu até turistar um pouco. Welcome to Brazil.
Thank you. What a warm welcome.
I know. This is Brazil. Get used to it, okay?
It's amazing.
You got the chance to make some caipirinhas today, right?
Some way? Oh, yes,
Some
we did.
caipirinhas?
They were delicious.
Yeah. You think you are going to make them for the next movies too?
Oh my God, I don't know if I can handle it.
I know. All right.
I thought we might do an interview. I could fill you in on all the behind the scenes.
I believe you already know your official name here in Brazil.
Yes, Cabeça Branca.
Let me see if they agree. Cabeça branca, cabeça branca. David, how's Brazil treating you, man? Some love and caipirinha.
Speechless, speechless. Fantastic.
There is a new generation going to meet Superman with your movie. Do you remember your first memory with him, with Superman?
With reading Superman? Yeah, when I was a little kid, I used to read, I got Superman Family comic with Superman and Supergirl and Lois and Jimmy and the whole gang. So I kind of fell in love with the whole group all at once.
I don't really. It's the kind of thing, the great thing about Superman is even before you've read a comic or seen a movie, you know what the symbol means. You know what each of these t-shirts means. And it's just a symbol of hope and optimism and courage. It's a symbol that unifies everybody.
We always say that in James Gunn we trust. How did you feel that on set with him?
Well, James creates a family out of every set he brings together, and David and I are the new kids on the block, and Nick and a lot of the other cast, but we felt like we were coming into a really warm environment where we were being encouraged and given the space to do our best work. So James makes it easy. He has a clear vision, but he's also a really wonderful collaborator.
Man, let's talk about planes finally.
Planes, yes, finally somebody's asking me about planes.
Let me ask you, is this something that everyone needs to do? Learn to fly a plane to get the role? Because Christopher Reeves used to fly them too.
Yeah, Christopher Reeve flew, and a lot of actors end up flying. I don't know, it's a great thing if you ever want to go and just take one lesson. It's an amazing experience to be up in the cockpit. I don't know, are you afraid of heights?
I'm not, but to be myself flying, I think.
You fly with an instructor, they have their own controls.
Okay.
It's worth doing.
Now that you're encouraging me, maybe, yeah. Okay. Now that we are going to watch a little bit of the movie, what are those details you want the fans to pay attention when they are watching the movie?
You know, I just think that there's so many things. There's a great scene between Lois and Clark that we get to see in this opening sequence. We get to see a battle. We get to see Krypto save Superman in his own messed up way. You know, so it's like we have just a lot of stuff in the first half an hour, and then I can't wait for people to see the whole movie, really.
E além de conversar com eles aqui no tapete vermelho, adivinha? Também consegui fazer uma conversinha bem exclusiva com eles. Dá uma olhada.
James, let me start talking about how was it to shoot this movie in Cleveland, because that's the place where the character was born.
I know.
Like,
it's
that's
crazy.
a great coincidence.
It's so crazy, and it's you know, I'll be honest, I didn't know it. I didn't know that they were from Cleveland. And so I was in Cleveland because there's a lot of like old Art Deco buildings that you know are sort of like what we think of Metropolis.
Totally.
And I was there scouting, and they're like, "Oh yeah, Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster are from here," and I was like,
Their
"Oh my
high school
God!"
is here.
I was embarrassed I didn't know it. And then we were walking down the street, and there's this big, it's called Terminal Tower. It's a big building that's in the center of town, right next to where we shot.
Yeah.
And the city had put up, every night it's lit up in different lights. They lit up in Superman's colors in red and blue and yellow.
Oh,
and I
that's
was
so
like,
cute.
oh my God, this
The
is
city's
awesome.
ready.
Yeah.
I got to go
Jealous,
to the
yeah.
house, which is filled with Superman paraphernalia.
Kind of a museum.
And got to go with Jerry's grandsons, who brought me down into the basement where he ran downstairs at like 3 o'clock in the morning. His typewriter was too loud for his brother, who he shared a room with, so his brother kicked him out, and he ran down to the basement to type out this story of this hero who fought against mobsters and gangsters and was a protector of the common man.
I also love that James is also always like prioritizing to have these practical sets, to have these practical effects. What changes for you, and what was the craziest thing that James asked you to do on those sets?
What changes everything. I mean, look, we're actors. In theory, we can imagine and create anything, some of us better than others.
But we won't talk about
We
that.
won't talk about that anymore.
Okay, David.
But no, it's me. but it's such a gift to be able to work with such extraordinary set designers. In Cleveland, speaking of, walking out, literally the Metropolis was built at the back of, outside the back of our hotel. To be able to walk out the back of the hotel and arrive in Metropolis does 3/4 of the work for us. To be able to walk into those storefronts, and there's things in the windows, and everything has been meticulously designed. I mean, walking around Lois's apartment, I could have opened any drawer and there would be things in there that helped me understand the character better. And when you have a director who allows, and producers and a studio who allows space for that kind of attention to detail, even if you don't see every little thing in the movie, you feel it in ways you don't even recognize through every part of the movie. And I know how much it enhances my experience as an actor.
Todo mundo tem um diretor favorito, né? No caso do James Gunn, às vezes ele é tão importante quanto alguns dos personagens que ele coloca ali nos filmes dele. E o público latino, lá no México, conseguiu mostrar muito bem isso pra ele. Quem acompanhou isso de pertinho foi a minha amiga Gabi Khan, da Warner Channel Latam, que também conseguiu ter um papinho ali com ele e bateu uma entrevista super legal.
As a director, how can you turn an actor into Superman? Like, which are the first directions you give them? What are the first steps?
Well, I think the first thing I needed to do was find somebody who could, portray those characteristics that we know and love in Superman. First of all, there's a physical attribute, which you can't deny. He's tall, dark-haired, handsome, square-jawed. I think that Superman has to really have that quality of goodness and kindness shine through in his eyes. I don't think Superman's perfect, but I do think that he's somebody that has a love for all humanity, and the person needs to be able to emanate that.
If he would have been raised in Latin America, what kind of superhero do you think he would have been?
It just depends. I mean, it really depends on who he was raised by. But truthfully, I think the Kents are like a lot of people here in Latin America, they're like farm people anywhere. I wanted to find people that really portrayed those core American values, the farmland. And I think that's true whether it's, here in, Mexico, or in, the United States, or in, Argentina, or China, really. There's a lot of similarities between those peoples.
I think he would eat more spice, maybe, but that's it.
Yeah, maybe. Yes, that's right. Spicy, yeah. More crickets.
Pensa em um filme cheio de estrelas. Quem também tá nesse filme de Superman é o Nicholas Hoult. Talvez você lembre dele porque ele participou de Mad Max, A Estrada da Fúria. Mas agora ele tá interpretando um vilão clássico, o Lex Luthor, sim. Bem careca, inclusive, mas eu adorei ele assim.
I love him as a character. I think, that was one of the things that I think James has really nailed in this script is Lex, is the bad guy for the story, but there's also a lot of things in his character and in his ideas and persona that maybe are right and aren't initially too crazy of an idea. So as misguided as he might be, his moral perspective and judgment off, he kind of believes in his soul that he's doing the best thing for humanity and he can protect them, and that these, meta-humans are a threat to us all, and I think that place is quite a pure sense of where he's starting out from. Superman. He's not a man. He's an it. That's somehow become the focal point of the entire world's conversation.
I will not accept that.
Quem também tá nesse filme é a diva Isabela Merced, que você talvez lembre por Peacemaker e The Last of Us, mas agora ela interpreta a Mulher Gavião no filme, uma das minhas personagens favoritas, confesso.
Kendra's got some issues, so she sort of like leads with anger. I think at all times she sort of leads with this sort of like war cry mentality. She lets out a war cry every time she's about to strike. I mean, she's like not even scared to be not even scared enough to be stealthy. Like she just yells and she's like, I'm here and I'm everywhere. Because I can fly really fast and I have a mace that's completely unforgiving. Even if I accidentally swing it your way, you're done.
Today, the Secretary of Defense said he was going to look into your actions. That's funny?
My actions? I stopped a war.
Maybe.
Not maybe, I did.
In effect, you illegally entered a country.
This is how you're gonna be?
I'm not the one being interviewed, Superman.
And I love a phrase that you always are saying on set that is, obstacles are opportunities.
Yeah.
I take it with me for my life too.
Oh, that's good.
Was there a moment during this production that you realized, oh, again, this phrase is so real, like obstacles are opportunities, you have to turn things around?
Yeah, I think always. I mean, I think that, listen, not everyone has been so positive from the beginning about this Superman. I think we've had to, sort of fight for that. And, I think it was just a reminder of being able to look inward and to create the best possible Superman we possibly could. And not to be like listening to all these other chatter and other voices around us, but really focus on the creative, focus on the legacy of who the character is. And it put us in the right place for making the movie.
Are you being serious right now?
Yeah.
You'd let me interview you as Superman.
Sure.
Ready?
Let's do it, Cronkite.
Superman.
Miss Lane.
Guys, feel free to answer these questions by pointing fingers.
Great.
Because we can do this here,
Love
okay?
that.
We're great at that.
Yeah, just like a few minutes of silence for you two. Yeah, I got you
Perfect.
guys. So first of all, who probably has the best self-tape to get this job?
We haven't seen them.
We have no idea.
I have to assume that yours
gotta
is
assume
amazing.
you
Yeah.
too.
Someone helped you guys with those?
Yeah, my wife.
My husband.
Oh, that's so cute. Okay. How things are always matching with you too also. Who is probably the one that can hold better their caipirinhas?
We haven't drunk a whole lot together, so I don't
Not a
know.
lot.
Yeah, because
There's
they are
still
dangerous.
times.
Yeah,
But
just
they are
like-
dangerous, like
But
2
you're
or
bigger.
I have
3.
more weight on me. Yeah.
But no more than 2 or 3, for
Yeah.
real, because then
Okay.
you get into the carnival mindset, and then I don't know if it's the moment, you
I
know?
want the
Right.
carnival mindset.
I
Bring
know.
on the carnival.
So then, who is probably the one that is going to come back to Brazil after this press tour? That's it, the carnival mindset.
I love Brazil, but I get so stressed out by travel in general.
I know.
That anytime I can stay home, I stay home.
No, but for real, David, but you fly planes and then you get stressed
It's
by
so weird, isn't it?
traveling. Yeah.
You're
It's
such
the
a
logistics
homebody.
of it. It's the timing. It's that you're going to be late or something's going to get lost or whatever.
You're
Get
a
it.
planner. You're a
Yeah, that's
360.
what it is.
I'm like,
Yeah.
chuck me in. Let's see what happens.
To be fair,
Let's
I'm
go.
sure we'll come to a CCXP. Is that
Yeah,
the big?
exactly.
I'm
Yeah.
sure we'll come
Too.
here at some point for that. So.
I
hope for
almost
that.
came here for the holidays this year before I knew we were coming.
Really?
Yeah.
I will give you some tips afterwards, okay?
Agora, quem tá roubando a cena em Superman é o Krypto, gente. Ele é o cachorrinho mesmo do Superman, do Clark Kent. Ouso dizer que é um dos cachorros mais poderosos das galáxias, mas também um dos mais caóticos, tá? E adivinha só, o James Gunn se inspirou no próprio cachorro dele de estimação, o Ozu, um fiapo de manga, acredita? E é claro que a gente falou disso com ele, né?
I think one of the reasons I love animals in films and animals in life is they really are, they're a connection between ourselves and, the rest of the world. But really, Krypto to me is just, he's a lot of different things. Number one, he's based on my dog, who's just, was this terrible, terrible dog.
You have a dog?
I wondered what Krypto would be like if he was terrible. But I think it's also embracing a lot of the more otherworldly elements of Superman that haven't been embraced in films. And every time there's a new Superman film, it isn't like what it's like in the comics, frankly. There aren't robots and kaiju and flying dogs and other superheroes. And these are all things that have been in Superman comics
since the 40s and 50s. So I wanted to kind of really embrace the full world of Superman, the character himself, but also the universe he presides in.
Então anota aí que dia 10 de julho a gente tem um encontro marcado no cinema para você assistir a história do super-herói mais nobre e bondoso do universo da DC. Você não pode perder essa história e essa aventura, porque esse filme tá cheio de ação, muita emoção para sua família inteira, tá? A gente vai se ver lá no cinema. Eu sou a Valentina Bulgarin e esse foi o nosso Inside Warner Superman. Tchau!